Welcome back to this week's edition of The Walkthrough, where we check off the week's most trending topics in real estate. I'm your co-host, Byron Lazine, along with Eric Simon, the broke agent, with his baseball again. And Eric and I do a little pod tomorrow, so look out for that. And we have returning to the show, Jason Cassity. He is the man that has brought Refer, the world's greatest referral network, to the scene. We're going to talk a little bit about that at the end as it relates to the Bam Bash. And Jason, I can now finally announce your big move from Compass to Real, taking your San Diego team over to Real. I almost slipped last time you were on.
Almost did. Yeah, you had it teed up. You were about to say it. I was scrambling for like a recovery if you did say it. I didn't know because I was still in negotiations at that point.
I froze during those introductions almost. And we also have, for the first time, long overdue, Robert Mack, the toast of the town over there in Orange County, California. Yep. Robert Mack will be speaking at this year's Tom Ferry Summit, one of the keynotes on Tom X Day. He is a great man. He hikes volcanoes with his bare feet. The man is a legend. Robert Mack, welcome to the walkthrough.
Oh, thank you for having me. I couldn't be more excited.
There's three California IAs and then me on this show. So
that's right. SoCal.
That's right. SoCal show. All right, let's get into it. We've got a giveaway announcement on the fourth topic. So if you entered the contest, we're giving away 2 tickets to the Tom Ferry Summit. We're going to announce that winner at the end of this pod. So definitely stay with us for that. But first, let's get into topic number 1. More people than ever ask Google, will the housing market crash? So if we look at the chart right now, this is since 2007. More people are searching the internet for terms like housing crash. And if you look at the Google Trends here, you can see the uptick, and it's consistent. It's consistently ticking up. Let's start with Robert. First time on the show, Mr. Mack. Everybody calls you Mack, so I don't know why I called you Robert. That was the only time in my life I've called you Robert, by the way. Mack, man, what do you think about this trend ticking up?
Well, I'm not surprised. I'm hearing it a lot from our sphere as well. I think a lot of buyers out there are just looking for some relief. And when the narrative out there is the market's going to crash, that gives people hope. And so that hope continues to grow. But the reality is, I think we're taking this market month by month. I've seen a lot of the data. I've watched you online. I get the millennials and the demand. I know that there's shortage overall. Tons of people have equity, and then obviously all the loans are good. That all makes sense to me. But I think we're dealing with a complicated world right now. There are wars going on. There are pandemics we're dealing with. The world, the population is extremely divided. I think there are external forces that could affect the market in other ways. So I'm hesitant to give absolute certainty to people and say the market will continue to rise. I think there are micro markets everywhere, and there are cities in Orange County right now that have over 6 months worth of inventory and are declining. And there are cities in Orange County right now that have a month's worth of inventory and thriving. So it's tough for me to say, yes, the market's going up, because there's just too many factors.
What are your thoughts on consumer consensus that they are searching these terms like housing crash? Do you think crash would be out of the question? Crash would probably mean something similar to a 20% decline. Maybe, I don't know if you'd consider a 10% decline a crash. What are your thoughts on the word crash specifically?
I mean, crash is a pretty aggressive word. If you want to make yourself feel better about it, you can say correction. I think that's a little bit more reasonable of a term. But look, the market went up in some areas 40% in 2 years. So if that's possible, why can't it fall 20% in 1 year or 20% in 2 years? So I don't see a 20% fall in certain areas of the country an unreasonable expectation. I think we will see that in certain parts of the country.
No, you're absolutely right. 40% in some areas. In the recent KCM blog, They quote CoreLogic price appreciation average 15%. That's overall for the year of 2021, up from the 2020 full year of 6%. So that's 20% in 2 years. But some areas, many areas, in fact, did go up as much as the 40%. But certainly doesn't mean that we're going to see that big of a correction. Cassity, what's your take?
I mean, the economics don't support it, right? There's still a situation where we have no houses for sale, and the people that are, and you know who benefits from inflation is people with fixed rate mortgages. Like everybody who's had a fixed rate mortgage at 3% for the last 4 years or whatever, and is sitting on gobs of equity, they don't need to sell. And what caused the crash last time around was all these people foreclosing because they lost their jobs and they were upside down. Then foreclosures go 10% below, and it causes these dramatic drops in the market. And we don't have that. Everybody who has bought a home in the last 10 years is sitting on positive equity, and they've got like a 3% interest rate. So ultimately, like with a lack of inventory and still buyers in the market, I just don't see the economics supporting a crash. The correction, sure, call it whatever you want. I mean, and like Robert just said, if it corrects 10%, from last year, that you could call that a crash, sure, but it's still going to be up 15 or 20% from pre-pandemic levels. So like, I mean, I guess it's just the semantics and the way that you're looking at it at that point. And so, like you said, is it just consumer sentiment or just people looking for hope that it's going to crash back down to a point where they can jump back in and buy? Maybe the prices do come back down 10%, but interest rates just went from 3 to 5. So you just actually probably lost purchasing power there by waiting.
Yeah, Eamon did a great job pulling the data on the Google Trends report, but I'm right there in alignment with you, Cassity. I don't think we're necessarily going to see a price correction. There is new dynamics in this market. The market is still incredible in a lot of different ways, but those new dynamics to me aren't showing that we're going to see prices go down. So if you're a homeowner, if you're talking to somebody in your community who has a 1 to 2 year plan, your advice as a real estate professional might be in line with, hey, listen, I think if you wait this year, you're still going to get an extra 10%. If we could go to the latest home price forecast from KCM, that's what the consensus, I guess, is out there, that roughly we'll see a 10% increase when we look at 2022 in a rearview mirror from the start of 2023. The average of these 7 forecasts is 10.3%. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac being the highest. Okay. NAR at 11.5%, Zelman 10%, and Zelman's very conservative. Ivy Zelman is usually not somebody who's going to go, ultra aggressive on her number. CoreLogic 9.6%, HPES 9.3%, and MBA Mortgage Bankers Association 2.7%. And they were down before, so they're up from their original estimate. This chart is something that I'd be using at the kitchen table when I'm talking to a seller who's uncertain. Like, we want to give the best advice, right, Mac? We don't want to just say sell now because we want the deal. Like, if somebody's asking me, well, is my value going to crash by 20 or 40% if I wait 1 more year? Because listen, my retirement depends on me sticking around for another year. So do I need to rent my last year of working this 30-year job, or can I hold on another year and sell my house next year? What would your answer be to that, Mac?
I mean, I think it's safe to say for the short-term future, the 6 to 12 months, like Jason said, the economics, they make sense. I mean, the economics show that we're not going to see that crash. I think where I'm coming from is I'm hearing and seeing other things like, the food shortages, the supply chain. Sometimes there are things above and beyond the economics that could affect the housing market. And that's where the uncertainty for me sort of is in my world. But overall, if a seller says, I want to wait another year, I think we're safe to say prices are going to continue going up at this point. I think that there's certainty there.
Are you related to Freddie Mac, Robert?
I am not. Actually,
Yeah.
I may be a distant cousin.
Fun fact, though, Mac's assistant is also named Mac.
Not assistant.
That was a between two lock boxes.
Yeah, very specific reference there.
Yeah,
Only
very
3
very
people in the
specific.
world understood that one.
Yeah, the 3 that were in that hotel room filming it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So again, when I'm sitting at the dining room table, though, I want to make sure I'm pointing towards data. That's what this chart here, if we'll just show it one more time, from KCM is going to allow you to do. Where, hey, listen, I'm not the one guiding your decision. This is your decision. But here's what we're seeing, that by the end of this year, this is where the value of your home, according to all these forecasts, is likely to end up. And I get it, location specific. If you're in Texas and you're, getting hit by one of these oil driven markets, you could already be in a declining market, right? That's a different scenario than maybe the average of the US. But I want to give that information. I want to make it clear that, hey, this is the data that's out there, and be the person that's helping educate them. You can do the same thing by trying KCM for free. So just hit the link below, go try KCM for free, or try KCM.com/BAM. KCM brands the content for you. And by the way, if you're following KCM, if you like their data, just throw a thumbs up on this video. If you're watching on YouTube, if you, for some reason, can't find the link in the show notes, you want to become a KCM user, throw a comment down there. But if you like the KCM data, if it's helped you win a deal or build your brand in the past, throw us a thumbs up on the YouTube video. All right, we'll check that one off and go to topic number 2. But we've beaten this one almost. It's only been like 6 days old, and we've already beaten it to death. But we've talked about it on the Real Word. Maybe not, because I want to Cassity. I want to get Mack's opinions on this. We've written a bunch of BAM articles on it. We've got the Zillow and Opendoor marriage. Zillow, did they make a deal with the devil that is Opendoor? Cassity, your thoughts on this lead generation alignment?
I think it was a smart move. It might be a weird, thing to hear, but like ultimately from the macro perspective, Zillow wanted to get into the iBuying space and they didn't do well. And I think it had to do with the fact that they have the eyeballs, but they didn't have the boots on the ground. They obviously, there was a lot of the logistical stuff that they weren't able to figure out. And so they were losing money on some of these houses. Well, Opendoor kind of can do some of the stuff on the back end. They have the logistics. They just don't have the eyeballs. So they were overpaying for house, or as we saw by their $68 million, they were lying about, deceptive marketing. So why not partner? Let Zillow do all the eyeball part and they'll do all the flipping part. It just seems like a match made in heaven. Right. And there's obviously, from a realtor perspective, it's kind of like a these are two failing companies that are merging together. But from someone who maybe understands that it wasn't the iBuying space that went bad, it was just Zillow's execution of it that went bad. And so now you're marrying two of the biggest players. That could be something to actually watch. I don't necessarily think that iBuying is going to ever be more than 5 or 6% of a niche kind of a situation. But
great point.
They're definitely going to corner that 5 or 6% when it comes to it. And what's funny about it is the reason that iBuying hasn't necessarily, all these iBuying companies haven't necessarily performed well for the last 2 years is because it's a terrible environment for iBuying. Anybody could put a house on the market and sell it in a weekend for top dollar, right? But if we're heading into a recession or things start to correct and things start to get a little tougher and houses sit for 30 and 60 and 90 days, now that 7-day cash offer might be a little bit more enticing. For Aunt Sally, who inherited a house in Boise but lives in Miami and doesn't want to deal with selling it, go ahead, sell it to Opendoor or Zillow now. And so this environment might actually lend to a little bit more of iBuying. Now you've got the two biggest players partnered together. It's all fun and games to make jokes about the $68 million fine, but I think that people should really be paying attention to it.
Great point on the size of the market, maybe 5 or 6%. And I agree with you. The game is cooked. If somebody else comes out with a company that's like, hey, we're getting into iBuying, they are not going to win. Opendoor has now taken that niche, that slice of the pie, and they own it with this marriage with Zillow. And I think it's just over forever and always. They will have that piece. I don't believe, to your point, Jason, I don't think the Brad Inman prediction of a couple of years ago where he said iBuying is going to make up 50% of market is ever going to happen. We'll never get close to that. The year that he predicted it, it was the COVID year and all of that, but it was less than 1%. On the earnings call for Zillow, Rich Barton called this a very deep integration. If you listen to the earnings call, it was funny because Zillow was like deep integration, cheering this on. They were happy and excited, as they should be. They're going to be able to produce potential seller leads for their partners with this. But when you listen to the Opendoor executives, they sounded like they were held captive. They did not sound excited. It felt like they were taking a big L on the chin. Mack, your thoughts? What should agents think about this? Eric wanted to chime in.
Yeah, you listen to the Zillow earning call?
I listen to every earnings call. This is
what a massive nerd, right, fellas? I mean, who actually sits there? Like, where do you even find that? You,
I want to
put
actually
in your headphones and listen to this.
I'm going to start streaming them live on the BAM channel and
oh god,
sprinkling
we'll lose
in my
subscribers by the second. Sorry, Mac, your thoughts on the Zillow Opendoor situation?
How should agents think about this? How will it impact agents specifically?
Well, I went through the article and it said that some agents are worried, and you had examples of that. And you had some agents that were like, let's wait and see what happens. And then you had some that were skeptical or indifferent. I fall into the I'm indifferent. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, business as usual. I can't change what they do. So if agents are out there kind of moaning and groaning about it, I think they're just wasting their time. In terms of the actual partnership, I agree with what you and Jason said. I think it's a little bit weird, when you hear about companies like Opendoor, doing those kinds of things. I question their integrity. And so Zillow jumping into bed with them does sound a little bit weird, but from a business perspective, I agree that, Zillow's always had their eye on Opendoor. I think Zillow's iBuyer program was inspired by Opendoor. And like Jason said, Zillow failed at their iBuying program, and now Opendoor can bring that aspect to the table, and they can create a product and serve a lot of people. The reality is, like Jason said about Aunt Sally, there are many people out there that can benefit from the iBuying program. Although there's a premium associated with it, it's ridiculously convenient for many people. So I think it has a place in the market.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. There is a place in the market, and that would be the one thing I tip my hat to Opendoor on. Okay, you own it now. You made the deal with Zillow. You've got the place. Congratulations. You are the iBuying king. The FTC did validate what you just said, Mac, that you will pay a premium for this as a consumer. And so as the real estate educator in your market, as the market expert, you just want to educate people when you go on listing appointments. Hey, don't shy away. Don't try to hide it. Don't try to pretend like it doesn't exist if it's in your market. Hey, here's the opportunity, and here's how much you're going to pay for that convenience if you decide to go that route, as opposed to going onto the active market with what I can offer, and here's what I can offer, right? I would still show it, and I would also show the fact that it has been proven that they will pay a premium. You can point to the $62 million that Opendoor just forked over to the FTC. All right, Bobby, show us the agent reactions that Mac referenced on the BAM article. We have Danny Dudum Real Estate. Danny, I apologize if that's the wrong pronunciation of your name, but he says death to a large number of independent realtors. Danny, I'd say you're dead wrong. I mean, I don't even understand. I hope you listen to this full segment on the piece of the pie that iBuying has. I don't think this will be death to a large.
Imagine actually being that scared of Zillow and Opendoor forming this alliance and being an agent and be like, oh my God, this is going to destroy us. And waking up in the middle of the night thinking that's kind of
the Realty.614. I read that Zillow will now sell inventory at reduced prices, so folks will get screwed. I mean, I think they're making a joke. Is that a joke? I think that's a joke.
It's not a funny one.
Big business with reputation and big business with money equals no need for the little guy anymore. It's like iRobot, and the live agents are Will Smith. I haven't seen the movie, Eric. iRobot. Good movie?
5.5 out of 10.
Okay, there you go. And then, like Max said, you've got the wait and see, and you've got the skeptical or indifferent people. Allison Hughes home. Shout out to Allison. Love all the follows that you're giving BAM. People are still essential in such a large and emotional purchase. Totally agree with that. 92% plus people in the last 12 months chose to work with an agent. So that tells you that the consumers still want the service that they're being provided by real estate agent. That's actually up in the last 10 years.
Vice versa. Yeah. As agents, if you're watching this, right, you can offer the same service. We all as agents know 5 or 10 contractors and developers who call us every single week looking for cash offers. And so put them into a little Rolodex on a Google spreadsheet, offer an iBuying service, run Google pay-per-click ads to it. And if you want to pitch it on every listing and say, hey, I can get you a cash offer from a client right now, it's going to be 15% below the market, because that's exactly what Opendoor is doing too. but I can do it without the fee, because then you're going to get the listing on the back end anyways when they flip it, right? Like you could be an iBuyer as well. You don't have to worry about it. Like
you could be an iBuyer, or you can offer, you know, I think your old company, Compass, Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but they had like a product, and I know some independents that do the same thing, where they basically come in and update the home so that you can maximize for that person that's like, okay, I don't want the convenience, I want the maximization of value here. I know Compass and some other companies are doing that. So you could offer that. You could offer your own iBuying. You could show the Opendoor iBuying price, and then your just go to market traditional staging price and give them four options.
That's it. Yep. For the non-brokerage affiliated, there's Curbio. I think it's curb.io. Shout out. They're not sponsoring us, so maybe we should edit that out. But basically, it's the same
keep
thing.
Them on.
It's that Compass concierge type thing where they come in and they'll do upgrades and then they take it off the back end for no fee, you know? So yeah, that you have options out there. Don't necessarily think that you just have to give up on the iBuying space. Offer the same thing.
And be the agent that's presenting the options. Don't be the agent that when you walk in the door and they bring up one of these options, you're like, whoa, don't want to talk about it, or don't do that because it's bad. Just educate.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. Opendoor is an option for you in this market. And there's a convenience factor to that. And I can even help you with that convenience factor. Know that you're paying a premium. Know that Opendoor just was fined $62 million because they were deceiving consumers on that premium. Here's the data, right? And go through it with them. All right, let's go to direct mail. CNBC reports the U.S. Postal Service to temporarily hike prices for holiday season. The U.S. Postal Service filed a notion of a temporary price hike for the holiday season. The service says the adjustment is similar to past years. The increase would go into effect October 2nd and would last until January 22nd, 2003. Thought this, you know, obviously this isn't a straight up real estate headline, but it's interesting because there are a lot of agents that are running direct mail right now. And what I find too is when agents say, you know what, I need to get back to getting listings. It's clear, especially right now in this market, listings are going to give you control. I mean, you can say that in any market, but as we shift, it becomes more obvious to many. And there's so many agents that are like, you know what, I'm going to go do a direct mail campaign because why? Here's my thoughts on it. And then I'll get Mack and Jason and Eric, your thoughts. I think some agents want to take a passive approach to their marketing, a passive approach to building brand, and stuffing an envelope or doing an every door direct campaign is just swiping the credit card, crossing the fingers, and hoping that you're going to get a call back. I believe with the mail uptake that people are going to get over this course that the USPS is going up on prices October 2nd to January 23rd with should I say elections coming up and all this other stuff, all this other garbage that are going to come into people's inboxes, this would be the time that I would avoid the mailbox. I would not be sending out mail right now. I would not be spending that premium on that. And I'd be diving in to building my brand a la Gary V, going very deep on how much content I can put out on a regular basis. Jason, you've got a studio in San Diego. I'm sure you're on alignment, but if I'm wrong, and maybe I am for a luxury market like you, Josh Rubin kills it in New York City, but he also pays a premium to do that. And he's been doing it for a very long time. Your thoughts on diving into direct mail if you're an agent thinking about doing that right now?
Well, I mean, so one of the things is that it could just get more expensive. That's what the article was saying, is that the price of the mailing could get more expensive, right? So like, I think it was referencing 75-cent increase per piece or something on just commercial postcards.
Yeah, 75-cent hike, and long distance deliveries could see up to $6.50 hike.
Yeah. So if you're farming an area, 1,000 pieces, right, and there's a 75% increase, that's a $750 increase to that farm every month. That could be impactful for someone who's just getting ready to start out and they only have $1,000 budget or something like that. Then farming might not be the right move at that time. You can find much more cost-effective ways to generate leads, Google pay-per-click, Facebook, different things like that might have a little bit more of a return. But if you are farming, I think it also, like you just said, it's going to get really crowded, election stuff. Like I think maybe pivoting into maybe handwritten mailers or some sort of a more of a premium stock, like on a handwritten envelope with a real stamp, so it'll stand out and guarantee an open versus just postcards. I think what this is saying is like postcards might be might be a tough sell for this upcoming thing. Because if you're gonna add 75 cents per postcard on 1,000 farm, that's $750 extra just for postcards. I don't know if it really has the same return on investment. You can do a little bit better for those, which really just kind of get looked at and thrown away. So if you're going to do some sort of a mail, try to add in some sort of like a handwritten situation. I'm on the board of this company called Celebrity Agent. They do a great job where it's like $1.10. So I don't know if that price is going to go up too, probably, because the stamps are going to go up, right? The cost. But they do a handwritten, or they use like a machine or something like that. That's the type of thing that I think could work, because you're standing out from just the postcards and trash. But if you're a newer agent, you're trying to determine if you want to set up a farm, I think there's probably a more effective way to spend that money if you're just looking at sending postcards.
I get a lot of pushback from wild veterans in real estate, 30-year people that are really passionate about the direct mail. And they say, this is just works. It's tried and true. And what I'm saying is I'm trying to push people towards what's going to build your career over the next 20 years, the next 10 years. So if you're at the end of the road and it's working for you and you already dominate that farm, I would say keep doing it, but I wouldn't do it. And here's where else I wouldn't do it. When you go deeper on this topic with me, anybody that's in a market where your average home isn't minimum $750,000 and above, direct mail, you will lose money. If you're dealing with the Tom Toole saying the meat and potato markets across the country, and you're trying to do direct mail on $400,000 homes, on $250,000 homes, and then you will lose money on this campaign. Mack, your thoughts?
So, I mean, if we're talking online, like you're saying, or direct mail, and you can only do one, I do agree with you. The online approach, putting out as much content as possible, is probably the best way to go. I like both. I fall into that old school agent category. I've always done direct mail. I love direct mail. I'm going to be on stage at the summit at Tom X talking about direct mail.
Oh, in your face, Byron.
I love this. I love that you're
going to be talking about direct mail.
And I didn't know that's what you're going to be talking about on Tom X. So it's not like we set this up. Go ahead, Mack.
Yeah. So I look, I mean, if you just send direct mail, are you going to get a lot of responses? Probably not. But if you
by the way, your average price point is in Orange County?
It's $1 million plus.
Okay. Go on.
Yeah, the where we direct mail to, average price points like $2.5 million. Yeah. So it is definitely worth it. But we're also doing events. We're also door knocking. We're also sending out note cards. We're also, mailing to absentee owners. So we're doing everything we possibly can to be on people's radars. The one thing I did want to say was when I read this article, I sent it to my printer. And she actually responded to me and told me that it looks like these effects are going to be happening on the retail and in first class packages. So she said, if you're doing business bulk mail or EDDM, you won't be affected. So I think some agents who are doing note cards are going to be paying a premium, or first class mail are going to be paying a premium. But it's in this world, we can't control the postage. So we either find a different way to make what we want happen or pay the price. And so agents can find more resources, go through business, bulk mail, or EDDM to get their message out. I don't care about how much the postage rates are going up. I'd rather spend my time figuring out how to sell another 50 houses.
Hey, Mack, on EDDM, I did this years ago myself, probably 10 years ago when I first got into the business. And I used to actually make the mail. I used to actually print them out in my office. I was doing the creative, it was crappy graphic design. And so still today, you don't have to personally do it. You can outsource it, but you have to physically drop off the EDDM. And it's like you control the creative process as opposed to a postcard company that sends it out for you, or no?
So I've actually never done EDDM. I've always done business bulk mail. So it's a little bit more expensive, but I have I'm able to address the pieces so that the people actually get their name on it, which I like. Yeah. I get to spearfish in my area by sending mail to where I want it to go. The problem with EDDM, at least in my area, is every time you pull up a mail route, it pulls in apartments with it. So when I do the math, it's like, okay, I want to mail to these 1,000 homes. If I do EDDM, yeah, I'm going to save like 40% on postage, but I'm mailing to an extra 450 homeowners that don't even necessarily need to see this message because they're renting in an apartment community.
I understand.
What is EDDM?
I was just about to say every door direct mailers.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a USPS product, every door direct mail.
Yeah, you pay based on the post office route.
So that,
but it's
what
very
Robert
generic,
right? Is like you get people, commercial businesses and apartments in your route sometimes. And so if you're trying to send a targeted message about home values, you could be sending to people who aren't applicable clients.
So Max, since you're passionate about this, you're speaking about it at Tom X in Dallas in a couple of weeks. Let me ask you, would you be, you know what you're paying, would you be making that type of investment on direct mail if you were chasing $6,000 commission checks or $8,000 commission checks, which is where the average agent is fighting for commissions?
No, the cost of mail is just, like you said, you'd be losing money on it at that point.
It financially would make little sense.
Unless you can get to a point where, I mean, like you're at like 70% market share or 50% market share. But if you're just,
and let's face it, that's not realistic for, outside of maybe a few agents across the country.
I would agree with that. I would agree. The average price point is a huge factor in whether or not this campaign is worthwhile or not.
Yeah, because it costs the same to send a mailer, but the commissions are much bigger. So because with farming, especially if you're starting from scratch, it's going to be a 6 to 12 to 18 month lead time. You might find a gem and get a diamond or something like that, but for the most part, it's going to be a 6 to 12 month campaign before you start to see a sale out of that. And so,
Eric, the other day you put up a reel, and it got you. I'm looking at it right now. It got you 222,000 views.
So it performed poorly, you're saying?
On Instagram. It performed poorly to your standards for sure. A total flop video. Delete the account now. But Eric, how much did that video cost you?
About an hour of my time in a ring light, filming, a lot of embarrassment, a lot of pain, endorphins when the engagement came, a lot of creativity. So it actually cost me a lot.
That 4-second video
monetarily, it cost me nothing. Yeah. Well, I don't know which one you're referring to. If you're referring to the one I posted yesterday,
you're sitting where you are right now. Miles is, was on the couch behind you, and it was.
To your point, Byron, yes, it cost me nothing. Okay, it took about 20 minutes, and I reached 250,000 people. So as long as this mailing thing doesn't harm my ballot harvesting attempts in November, I think everyone's going to be okay.
There's a great talk that Gary V just gave. Cassity, do you know this Forward conference that he just spoke at? It was a real estate conference.
Yeah, I wasn't there, but Katie, my friend in Houston, shout out to Katie Day. She was there. And she recapped it for us on a mastermind call. So she gave us like the lowdown.
Oh, great. So I never heard of the conference, but I did see he put 20 minutes of an hour-long talk on his YouTube. It references Forward Conference. I don't know the title of the video, but it's recent. It's like within the last probably 2 weeks that he posted this. And Gary V, I mean, he mentions direct mail. He mentions billboards. He mentions traditional media and why right now is the time for you to invest 90% of your funds in the other direction. Of course, he's a big proponent of social media, but I mean, he talks about what's working right now in the moment where you can get the most, what he says is underpriced attention. And Eric, check this out. He just ranked Instagram number 5 of his most important social channels. He put YouTube Shorts, he put Facebook pages, and he put TikTok in his top 3.
Damn.
So,
wow.
And number 4 was either missed, he didn't say it, or Katie forgot to write it down. She said she didn't know, but yeah, Facebook fan pages was back to number 1, or YouTube Shorts, one of the two. And so he was big on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, and YouTube Shorts we know is crushing it. We should do something on that. I think, Eric, next week, I think you had a great idea, didn't you? Maybe vertical videos on the walkthrough.
Yeah, we have a contest to get to, but next week we'll cover vertical video and how to distribute your reel to TikTok, your TikTok to reels, your reels to shorts, and your shorts to Facebook business page. Because I just posted a reel on our Facebook business page. It's crushing. I just did a YouTube short yesterday that has more views than all of our other shorts. It was a funny video instead of like the podcast clips. So I am pumped about that because you could grow your audience so much on all these platforms.
So if you're on YouTube right now, throw us a thumbs up if you want us to talk vertical video on a topic next week on the walkthrough. All right, here it is. We are doing the giveaway live. So 4th and final topic, Tom Ferry Summit in Dallas. It's going to be kicking off a week from this coming Tuesday.
Is Robert going to be there? Oh yeah, you're speaking Tom X.
He's speaking. He's going to be there. He's going to be at our party. We hosted this contest, promoted it the last couple of days. We had over 200,000 agents sign up for the contest.
We did not have over 200.
20% of the entire real estate community click that link and want to come to the Tom Ferry Summit.
Yeah.
Now, we had over 1,000, and we are pumped. We are giving away 2 tickets to one winner so they could take a friend from the office. And we're about to run the contest right now. We are pulling up a randomizer. So we have all the names in this, and we are going to just
it's happening right now. 3 seconds away.
Now. This is it right here.
This is it. This is the winner.
Lauren Pera. Congratulations.
Congrats, Lauren.
There we go. Lauren Pera. We will see you at the Tom Ferry Summit, and you have exclusive VIP access to the first ever BAM and Refer Bash from 6 to 9 p.m. on Tuesday.
Wow.
And you're bringing a friend both to the summit and to the bash.
Yeah. Congratulations, Lauren. You get to hang out right next to Byron for 3 hours at the BAM Bash. He will be talking about KCM charts
and the
Zillow at the dining table and Zillow estimates and earnings calls. Well, he will be whispering in your ear.
In the VIP section with all the refer peeps, so she'll be standing next to Cassity. I don't know if I'm in the VIP section.
You're not in the VIP. Mac, you are in the VIP.
The door.
Yeah.
I'm planning on it.
Cassity, how pumped are the refer peeps about this bash?
Good. So I reached out to I sent out a list to everybody, and we had all the people who signed up. I reached out to confirm, and all 12 of them confirmed too. The ones that are going to be in Dallas for that, and so they're all stoked.
Yeah.
I'm going to fight them all.
Yeah. You get we're not doing a rooftop, are we?
We are doing a rooftop.
Yeah, it's a rooftop.
Is it a rooftop? All right, good.
Yeah. You haven't even seen the venue. It's incredible.
You'll get thrown off the rooftop.
That's fine.
Shout out to TF for suggesting the venue, right? Or no?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. Did he?
It was one of his suggestions.
One of his suggestions. I'm really looking. When's your talk? Is it Tuesday, Mac?
It's Tuesday.
All right. So Tuesday we get to go see Mac give his Tom X keynote, and then we've got the BAM Bash. That maybe a best all-time summit day right there. Mac? Are you nervous at all?
I'm excited. I mean, you know, there's a little bit of nervousness that comes with it, but I'm more excited than ever. I mean, fun fact about me, dude, I've been going to the Success Summit since 2007. I've only missed one.
Damn.
I've been to 15, and dude, the first summit I went to was like 150 people. It was insane.
5,000 people staring back at you, and
Byron,
when you get on
Mack
the stage.
Jumps off of cliffs. He swims with sharks. He hikes volcanoes on his hands. You think he's nervous to talk about direct mailers to us? Absolutely not.
I'm excited.
Crush it.
Because I've received so much for the ecosystem that this is now my opportunity to stand in the spotlight and give back to all the people out there. So if I was going to be nervous about anything, it would be that the message wouldn't be well received from the audience. But we all know that's not going to be the case. So I'm excited.
No one's going to go up to you and say your message was not well received. That's
it's going to be awesome, man. I'm pumped about it. I know people are going to get a lot more listings after my talk.
100%.
That's very helpful. And Mac, you are one of the most authentic dudes in real estate. So I think it's going to be a win.
And Byron, for the people who entered the contest and didn't win, we have a link down below for $100 off Tom Ferry Summit tickets.
That's right.
So click that. If you didn't win, we'll send that out in an email blast to you as well. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if we're going to see you at the TF Summit too, come say hi to us.
Best price for the summit linked below. Definitely get your KCM charts so that when you leave the summit, you are ready to rock your local market. Try KCM for free down below and leave us a comment. If you are going to be at Summit, but you don't have your spot at the BAM Bash yet. Eric, do we have any spots left?
I mean, the line's going to be out the door. I don't know. There's been 90,000 agents that are on the list for this party also. So we're going to have to pick and choose. And then also, if you want to check out the referral network that Jason was talking about, our co-referral network where the people are coming to this party from. We've had incredible guests on. We've had Tom Ferry, Jason Pantana. It's like a mastermind referral network, incredible ecosystem. Click the link down below to that as well.
Hell yeah.
We should do a pod in Dallas. We will do a pod in Dallas and go deeper on some of the conversations that have been happening inside Refer Network. But if you made it this far to the pod, put a comment that you want to go to the BAM Bash, and Eric will make sure you get in, even if he has to pay the venue out of his own pocket. Okay.
Exactly. So, comment BAM Bash below.
There you go.
We will put you on the list if you throw that in the comments.
All right. See you in Dallas, boys. Appreciate you guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.